There are gifts that draw attention, and there are gifts that carry a mission. Discernment belongs to the second group. It doesn't manifest through spectacle, but through silence. It doesn't shout, but it unsettles. It doesn't appear, but it confronts. And when it's active in someone, it changes the way that person walks, speaks, chooses, and, most of all, sees the world around them. While many are dazzled by what glitters, the discerning recognize what is hidden, not through effort, but through spiritual inheritance. Discernment is an internal code that separates the true from the false, the pure from the disguised. It's not sharp opinion, nor life experience. It's perception from above. And those who carry it don't carry status. They carry responsibility. God doesn't give this gift to those who seek a stage, but to those who can bear seeing without being understood. It's not something learned through books, but something activated in moments of silence, inner pain, and prayers no one sees. When discernment awakens, the person stops being guided by the environment and begins to influence it. They don't bow to what's popular, because they were called to be a standard, not a copy. Discernment is not a reward. It's a calling. And if you've made it this far, there's a great chance that this gift is already operating within you, even if it has no name yet. I am George, and if this message aligns with what your spirit already understands, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Today, we're going to identify the 7 signs that confirm what heaven has already written about you. Not every environment is what it seems. Some people walk into a place and immediately feel that something is out of place, even though everything looks visually perfect. It's as if the air becomes heavier. The soul perceives it, the eyes don't. This is the first clear manifestation of discernment, a spiritual sensitivity that breaks through logic. Sensitivity to the invisible isn't about fear or superstition. It's a response that the Spirit gives when something is out of alignment with heaven. It might be an environment filled with distraction, heaviness, or confusion, or even a house where nothing seems wrong outwardly, yet the atmosphere reveals a disturbance that cannot be explained in words. Those who carry this kind of discernment don't go around looking for bad energy or strange signs. They simply sense when something isn't spiritually clean. And that feeling isn't emotion. It's a clear perception that God activates for protection and direction. Many times, the discerner feels this before making decisions, starting conversations, or connecting with someone. Sometimes it's a mild discomfort. Other times it's almost physical. A knot in the stomach, a sudden uneasiness, or even pressure in the mind. Everything seems normal, but inside something is screaming, "Don't stay here." And ignoring that almost always comes at a cost. The gift of discernment doesn't fail, but it requires sensitivity to listen when it speaks. The Bible shows us this in decisive moments. Before great battles, prophets discerned the time and the place. It wasn't just strategy. It was trained sensitivity. Like Samuel, who knew when the voice was God's and not Eli's. Like David, who waited for the movement of the Spirit before advancing. Sensitivity preceded action. Today, many ignore this kind of perception because they trust too much in appearances. But God doesn't guide through the eyes. He guides through the Spirit. And those chosen to discern must be willing to trust more in what they feel than in what they see. It's a faith that sees in the dark. And this gift can save you from traps disguised as opportunities. But there's an important detail. Those who have this gift often feel isolated, because few understand this type of sensitivity. Speaking about it can sound exaggerated to those who have never felt it. So many stay silent and keep it to themselves. But God didn't give you this gift to confuse you. He gave it to prepare you, to protect you, and to use you. Spiritual discernment is a rare gift, and it places you in situations where your perception becomes the only line between right and wrong. If you walk into places and feel a weight you can't explain, don't ignore it. God is saying something, and you were chosen to hear before everyone else sees. There is a restlessness that has no visible cause, a kind of silent emptiness that is neither sadness nor loneliness. It's an inner cry calling for something deeper, truer, more eternal. It's the spirit longing for spiritual reality. This is not an emotional crisis. It's one of the first signs that the gift is being activated. This longing appears when everything on the surface seems fine, yet something still feels off. It's not ambition. It's not vanity. It's not a search for novelty. It's thirst for presence, hunger for truth, the kind of thirst that no distraction can satisfy. Ordinary conversations start to feel empty. Routine activities begin to lose their shine. Those who carry discernment cannot live only by appearances. Their spirit rejects the superficial. This kind of restlessness is sacred fuel. It unsettles, but it pushes you closer to God. The soul begins to seek without understanding. It starts to withdraw from noises that once seemed pleasant and begins to crave silence, depth, surrender. It's at this stage that many think they're changing too much. In reality, they're aligning with who they truly are. Discernment begins with discomfort, a feeling that there's more to be revealed, a prayer that changes tone, a worship that touches differently, a phrase that burns in the chest for days. In the Bible, Hannah prayed and wept without speaking words. Her yearning was misunderstood even by the priest, but God understood and answered. The discerner feels that too. Prayers that ache for no reason, cries that defy logic, tears that fall without the heart being able to explain why. It's the spirit interceding with groanings that cannot be expressed. And this kind of longing doesn't fade. It only grows. Because the more the soul touches the eternal, the less it is satisfied with the temporary. Discernment is forged in that inner fire. It's a gift born from genuine pursuit, from a hunger that refuses to be silenced, from a heart that has already understood. Nothing outside of God will ever be enough. The yearning that follows you is not a burden, it's a calling. And the more you recognize it, the more you'll be guided to where you need to be. The discerner doesn't live chasing sensations, but lives in pursuit of direction. And that direction always begins with thirst, a thirst the world doesn't understand, but that heaven rewards. If you carry that yearning, don't fight it, feed it, seek more. Pray differently. Read as someone who wants to understand what the natural eyes cannot see. Because that thirst is the password, the seal, that God is about to reveal things others have not yet even dreamed of. Discernment is not only for leaders, prophets, or intercessors. It is available to every child who desires to hear the Father clearly. It's a gift that doesn't select by title, but by willingness. It's not a spiritual medal. It's a compass that the Spirit gives to those who want to walk with precision and not with assumptions. Jesus promised, "The Spirit of truth will guide you into all truth." That promise wasn't restricted to a select group. It was given to his disciples, and by extension, to all who choose to follow him sincerely. Discernment, then, is not a privilege. It's a tool. One that separates noise from direction, confusion from clarity, and appearance from essence. Those who decide to walk in the Spirit inevitably begin to develop discernment. Because the Spirit doesn't lead anyone into blindness. He guides, enlightens, and warns. But that requires relationship. No one discerns without closeness. Those who hear God rarely lose their way, because even without knowing the destination, they recognize the voice that leads. The disciples only fully understood discernment after receiving the Spirit. Before that, they were confused by words, attitudes, and even by the crowds. But after Pentecost, they knew who was sent and who was disguised. They knew when to advance, when to be silent, when to rebuke. The Spirit trained their eyes and their sensitivity. Today, many desire direction without surrender. They want to discern without listening. But discernment is the fruit of relationship. It is born when the noise is silenced and the voice of the Spirit is heard. He doesn't shout, he whispers. And to hear the whisper, you need silence, surrender, and humility. That is the door through which discernment enters. The true discerner does not walk in haste. He waits for instruction before making a decision. He prays before acting. He is not moved by emotion, but by inner conviction. He is guided by the invisible. And even if to the eyes of others he seems hesitant, he is being guided by something the world cannot see: the breath of God. This kind of spiritual perception is not produced by study. It is activated through obedience. What God speaks in secret is only delivered to those who position themselves to listen. And that positioning begins when one lets go of logic to trust in the sensitivity of the Spirit. This is not mysticism. It is dependence. You may not consider yourself ready. You may even think you're not spiritual enough. But if you have been sealed by the Holy Spirit, you already carry within you what is needed to discern the time, the place, and the people. It's not about spiritual height. It's about a real connection with God. It's possible to be in church and not discern, but it's impossible to walk with God and not begin to perceive. Because discernment grows in those who walk with Him. Those who hear His voice recognize the signs, and those who recognize the signs know when to stop, when to advance, and when to withdraw. There are moments when what you feel inside begins to take form on the outside. The restlessness that has accompanied you for so long starts being noticed by people with spiritual authority. They look at you and see something different. Not forced, not rehearsed. It's the confirmation of a gift that heaven is already activating. God uses spiritual leaders as mirrors and compasses. They don't create the gift, they recognize it. These are people who have walked with God long enough to perceive when He is raising someone up. They look at you, observe your gestures, your devotion, your silence, and they see something that perhaps you don't yet know how to name. That's how it was with Samuel. Still a boy, he heard God but didn't understand. Eli, even in his decline, had the sensitivity to instruct him. If He calls you again, say, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening." That phrase opened the ministry of one of Israel's greatest prophets. And it all began with a confirmation, a voice saying, "What you feel is real." Paul also reminded Timothy not to neglect the gift he received when the elders prayed for him. God had planted something, and the leaders merely watered it, with words, with hands, with encouragement. Sometimes that's all a discerner needs. Someone to say it's not an exaggeration, that what they carry isn't an emotional burden, but divine empowerment. If you've ever had a leader, pastor, mentor, or intercessor say to you, "God is doing something with you," pay attention. They don't say that by chance. And if no one has confirmed it yet, keep serving. God reveals at the right time. He first forms in secret, then manifests in public. It's important to understand that confirmation isn't validation of your identity. It's an activation alert. What God gave you doesn't depend on an audience. But when it's time to use it, He raises witnesses. People who prepare you, challenge you, and push you to live your gift with courage and reverence. And even if not everyone recognizes it, God always raises someone with discernment to align you with your calling. The leader who sees you may not be perfect, But if they are sensitive to the Spirit, they will be an instrument of activation. And what was once confusing begins to find direction. What was once a burden begins to become purpose. Confirmation is one of the clearest signs that discernment is becoming visible. When others begin to notice what you thought was just too much sensitivity, it's time to accept that something greater is happening. Heaven is calling, and the people around you are beginning to hear it too. There are moments when what you feel inside starts to take shape on the outside. The restlessness that's been with you for so long begins to be noticed by people with spiritual authority. They look at you and see something different, not forced, not rehearsed. It's the confirmation of a gift that heaven is already activating. God uses spiritual leaders as mirrors and compasses. They don't create the gift, they recognize it. These are people who have walked with God long enough to perceive when He is raising someone up. They look at you, observe your gestures, your devotion, your silence, and they see something that perhaps you don't yet have the language to describe. That's how it was with Samuel. Still a boy, he heard God but didn't understand. Eli, even in his decline, had the sensitivity to instruct him. If He calls you again, say, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening." That phrase opened the ministry of one of Israel's greatest prophets, and it all began with a confirmation, a voice saying, "What you feel is real." Paul also reminded Timothy not to neglect the gift he received when the elders prayed for him. God had planted something, and the leaders merely watered it, with words, with hands, with encouragement. Sometimes that's all the discerner needs. Someone to say it's not exaggeration, that what they carry isn't emotional weight, but divine empowerment. If you've ever had a leader, pastor, mentor, or intercessor say, "God is doing something with you, pay attention," they don't say that by chance, and if no one has confirmed it yet, keep serving. God reveals in the right time. He first forms in secret, then manifests in public. It's important to understand that confirmation is not validation of your identity. It's an activation alert. What God gave you doesn't depend on an audience. But when it's time to use it, He raises witnesses, people who prepare you, challenge you, and push you to live your gift with courage and reverence. Even if not everyone recognizes it, God always raises someone with discernment to align you with your calling. The leader who sees you may not be perfect, but if they are sensitive to the Spirit, they will be an instrument of activation. And what was once confusing begins to take direction. What was once a burden begins to become purpose. Confirmation is one of the clearest signs that discernment is becoming visible. When others begin to notice what you thought was just too much sensitivity, it's time to accept that something greater is happening. Heaven is calling, and the people around you are beginning to hear it too. Have you ever entered an environment and even unintentionally felt out of place, as if there were a code everyone understood except you? That's not just a personality trait. In many cases, it's a clear sign that you've been set apart. Discernment almost always walks side by side with the feeling of being different. This difference doesn't come from arrogance, but from sensitivity. Those who carry discernment cannot blend in where there is superficiality. Empty conversations drain them. Forced laughter unsettles them. The crowd intimidates more than it attracts. The discerner doesn't reject people. Their soul just knows when an environment lacks truth. It's more than perception. It's spiritual separation. Being set apart doesn't mean being lonely, but the process is often silent. The soul begins to protect itself from voices that don't edify, presences that confuse, places that drain. God narrows the path, not as punishment, but as preparation. The crowd is too noisy for those who must hear the whisper of the Spirit. Joseph had dreams before he was sold. He saw what others couldn't. that caused discomfort. And the discomfort led to rejection. The rejection pushed him into purpose. Not every distancing is loss. Sometimes it's a disguised promotion. God removes you from circles without purpose to take you where your calling will be respected. This feeling of not belonging hurts. Watching everyone flow in one direction while your spirit pulls you another way is uncomfortable, but also freeing. The discerner learns early that they weren't made to follow. They were made to observe, filter, and when necessary, confront. That doesn't make you strange. It makes you necessary. Difference is what preserves your sensitivity. The more you try to be like others, the dimmer your vision gets. Discernment requires separation, and separation requires surrender. Some won't understand. Some relationships will break. But even that is God clearing your path so you can see clearly. The truth is, not everyone can handle the presence of someone who sees. The discerner disrupts. Without saying a word, they provoke discomfort, because their presence carries light, and light always exposes shadows. That's why you felt resistance for no reason, distance without explanation, attacks when there was no fault. Discernment attracts spiritual opposition, but God uses that as training. He strengthens your emotional resistance, sharpens your perception, trains your obedience, because those who see more are also held to higher accountability. Discernment is not a trophy, it's a sword, and those who carry a sword carry battle. Being different is only the beginning. The war intensifies as you advance. Even so, this journey is not lonely. God always reserves allies, people who also see, who also feel. They aren't many, but they exist. And when you find them, there's relief, communion, confirmation. It's as if, for a moment, the burden is shared, and you remember, I'm not crazy, I'm just set apart. There is a kind of love that cannot be explained. It's not religious attachment or habit. It's thirst for the presence of God, a thirst that goes beyond routine, invades ordinary days, interrupts distractions, and pulls the soul back to the secret place. For those who carry discernment, that thirst isn't optional. It's survival. The discerner doesn't seek emotion. They seek communion. Not sensations, but direction. They don't pray to fulfill an obligation. They pray because without it they are lost. Their soul is drawn to God by an invisible magnet. Nothing else satisfies. Not success, not praise, not achievement. The only thing that fills is presence. And when it arrives, everything changes. David wrote, "One thing I ask of the Lord, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life." That request wasn't a pretty speech. It was a vital necessity. Those who love presence understand this. They feel when it departs. They perceive when it draws near. The soul begins to depend on the heavenly atmosphere just to breathe in peace. This pursuit of presence isn't loud. Sometimes it's silent. A quiet song, a tear in prayer, a sigh in the dark. The discerner knows the invisible touch of God. They know when he enters. They know when he is silent. They learn to discern heaven not through the senses, but through the Spirit. You are living the phase where it's no longer enough just to perceive. It's time to act. The gift of discernment reveals what many overlook, but those who carry it must translate perception into posture. A careful gaze, an unexpected pause, a word that changes everything. Wisdom doesn't die in silence. It is born and it moves. When the world chases visibility, you step back to evaluate. When everyone celebrates what seems obvious, you examine what's hidden. Not out of suspicion, but out of faithfulness. Because those who live by the Spirit understand that not every victory is measured by applause. Sometimes the greatest victory happens in the detail no one notices. Your inner radar senses energies, identifies ambition, distinguishes hidden motives. Have you noticed how, amid the noise, something always feels out of place? That something often warns. This path, this deal, this alliance. Not now. You don't need to be part of everything. You need to be part of what God has aligned. And by stepping back, you protect your mission. Chosen one, what you carry isn't meant to be displayed. It's meant to operate. The gift of discernment God has granted you is active. You no longer find yourself in many spiritual speeches, because your path walks between the inner voice and daily obedience. Now, stop waiting for an external sign and confirmation has come. You already are. This isn't a promise for tomorrow. It's a call for now. God has activated you to see what others don't, to perceive what others ignore, to act where many retreat. And if as you read this, you felt, yes, this is it, don't delay. Respond. The time of admiration is over. The time of positioning has come. Be steadfast. Be sensitive. Be wise. No longer secondary in heaven's effects. You will be an instrument. Faces will change around you. Atmospheres will be shifted by your presence. Doors will open because of your silent faith. Don't be impressed by the noise it will cause. The echo comes when the invisible touches the visible. You are at the epicenter. And now, what I ask. Comment below. Which sign of this gift struck you the strongest? Which part do you recognize in your journey and are ready to manifest? Your voice matters. Your testimony ignites another. The mission begins with the first conscious step. I am George, and I will be here to walk with you. Thank you for answering the call.